Invest with Trev. The time has come. Trevor, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Brett. I appreciate it, man.
Yes. And for the listeners out there not watching us on YouTube, he was dancing, he was breaking down. I thought he was going to do some moonwalking there, but no. Excited to have you, man. And the first thing on that back wall, and one of the first things that I picked up on Buyer Beater University Buyer Beater is United States Marine Corps. Thank you, sir, for your service.
Hoorah. Hey, thank you for your support, man. I love when people are able to find those subtle little hints, if you can't tell, you know what I mean? But I enjoy my time in the service, bro. Very patriotic, so I appreciate it.
Man, I'm the guy that'll walk across the airport to shake your hand. It's like there's so much that you guys have done for us. And this is not because we're on a podcast. This is my life and my thank you to you and your family and what you've given up. And I read a little bit about your story and about what you've given up and what pushed you into real estate. And now you're giving back to other vets along the way, getting them back into real estate. And I'm going to twist this up just a little bit here today, Trevor. And we're going to pass it along to not only vets, but to the physician, the medical professionals in our world here listening to this as well, too. So let's rock and roll. Tell us a little bit about Trevor.
Let's go, man. I appreciate that, dude. 8-year Marine myself. I got out in 2021, so not new, been doing real estate for about 5 years now. I was doing it the last couple years I was in the service. I'm glad you read up a little bit on that side. It definitely pushed me towards my why on my last deployment, and so I have a pretty big passion for utilizing myself as a stepping stone to kind of teach financial literacy in service members. Unfortunately, it's not pushed enough, and so I know that we work 12, 16-hour days. Same with doctors. A lot of our biggest investors, they are just really, grinding to the bone, and it's a damn good career path, but no free time, just like your time in the service. So real estate can be a great outlet, whether it's passive or active, and I just want more people to talk about it. I want real estate to feel approachable and attainable, and that's kind of what I'm on my path to do through creative, real estate strategies like novations and midterms and stuff like that, man. The thing is, you are indemnifying your position as well, where you can take your contract and your purpose with this loan with the intent to either buy and or novate. So our marketing clause is in there, basically talking to homeowners, which I call the 4Ds, right? It's the same audience as wholesalers. So anybody listening on the wholesale side, you are just, if you're not doing novations, it's just another great way to add to your tool belt. I still wholesale. People think I don't like wholesale. If I need to bridge the gap between a seller and a 30-day solution or less, I will wholesale that deal, right? If they're willing to work with my patients for more profit, we have a couple months, then let's test the market. Let's see what we can do with the home. Let's get it to a standard suitable to sell, right? Let's work them into the pleasure of doing business. But the 4Ds, death, distress, divorce, and debt, right? If I'm dealing with the seller in that situation and I can lock that property up for a certain amount and arbitrage my profit, it's only by finding the suitable buyer for them. And so, if I find somebody by putting it on the market, then I take over all the realtor fees and closing costs. Whatever's left over is just the return on my investment. And I've sometimes put $0 in the homes, or I've put $300,000 in the novations. It really just depends on the area and what my cash on cash is going to be and what the seller's willing to allow the collaborative process to be. Business actually ramps up because what I'm going to tie this into the service, but this is why, or into the military, because this is why I enjoy the novation piece, because it is just a service to your homeowner. So I do what's called the VHA program, where it's called the Veteran Home Advantage program, where if a service member just got stationed somewhere and they're putting in all these offers, right, to buy a house, they're already approved, they're utilizing the VA loan, but they're getting beat out with 1031s or all cash offers or waiving contingencies, and they can't do that. The buyer's agent just goes to somebody like me for a novation. They go, hey, if you can find a seller, right, that's willing to allow us to come in there, renovate the home on behalf of them to standards suitable for the VA loan, I just take the difference of the equity, right, where I lock in the homeowner and I go, hey, I got great news. I have a hero who's trying to buy your house. The thing is, though, they can't get lending due to the condition. They've been approved for us to come in and help renovate it. It's usually a stagnant listing, which are properties that have been on the market for 90 days or more, so they're super incentivized to want to sell. It's in an area that the service member wants to buy, and I give both the agents a commission on what the property appraises for. So my 50 makes 50 all day, and that's exactly how we can end up bridging that gap with a seller who wants it to sell and dealing with service members, and like you talked about, bleeding in that on-market approach to be able to start making our money, and that's where probably 90% of our deals come from. I'm going to give you two things. Both I completely, stand behind. One, cliche. don't recreate the wheel, right? There's a reason why, you can come in front of it. Obviously, you got to be able to pay to play, be in a room that you believe that you can position your time on and your passion. And once you have a purpose behind your passion, you'll find profit, right? So attach yourself to somebody who's doing it. You know what I mean?
There's so much that you just dropped right there.
I believe so. I'm a massive fan of education, right? You're talking to physicians, people, it's a write-off, all that fun stuff. But at the same time, it's a great way to fast track. You're kind of weeding through all the BS to get to somebody who knows what they're doing, and look at the credibility, right? Documentation over conversation. You want to see my deals? Do you want to see your deals? Let's get in front of that, and that way you're not just talking to somebody who is a talking head. Get somebody who's doing that on-the-job training, who can really dedicate their time to teach you, right? That's really what we want to pride ourselves in doing. At the same time, number 2, you go, Trev, that's cool, but I have some free time. I want to figure out how to do this on my own. That's fine. I'm going to tell you really how to get in front of it, stumble your way into your first deal, quite quickly. Go on Redfin. Okay, it's like a step-by-step, Brett. I'm just letting you know. It's kind of what I do. I do $0 in marketing every month for the last 3 years for Novations.
Holy cow.
Outside of my community. My community does give me 80 plus submissions a month, but at the same time, if I want to get a deal, this is exactly what I would do. I'd go to Redfin. They should sponsor me, man, for how many times I say Redfin. I change the filters, go to a city that you believe in, go to Phoenix, Arizona, or Dallas, or wherever you are, that has a booming population for flips. Go to 90 days or more on market, single families, 3-bedroom, 2 baths. And once you have that 90 days or more on there, just click the little fixer-upper button right there, and it's all going to be properties that have been sitting for months, mainly vacant, right? They have an agent approach where you can call them and just do this. Say, hey, I see it's been sitting for months. Right? It seems to me like you got your seller who wants a little bit too much than what your cash offers are probably coming in, and you unfortunately don't have any conventional buyers in the condition that it's in. I got some money, right? What if we just kind of partnered up? Let's just take this thing on hold real quick. Instead of buying a fix and flip and giving all my money to a bank and paying interest for that, what if I just gave it to your homeowner and I just had my crew come in and renovate the home on behalf of your seller? Any appreciation I create through the renovation, when you relist it, your commission's going to double. I can give your seller more, and then whatever is the difference is just going to be the return on my investment, right? And I'll cover all the realtor fees and closing costs. I do that for about an hour every Tuesday, and we get another 4 or 5 written offers every Tuesday, because it's that simple to collaborate, get the seller in front of their equity, have the agent sell a home that they promised to sell and make more money, and then you can use my money to flip it, because I have funding ready to go for these kinds of opportunities. I just don't have the time to source them all the time. We have our purchase and sell, we have our novation indemnification. We have an attorney in fact, which allows us the right to be able to choose and hire an appropriate agent that can benefit and work on behalf of both of us. That's not a power of attorney, and in some cases, in certain states, we do a power of attorney. And that shouldn't scare anybody. When it comes down to it, it is a limited power of attorney, but that's just in case we're putting a lot of money into this deal. We want to make sure that we can control who the property is going to get sold to. And no matter what, if you are trying to walk away or we do have to exercise this, we're going to give you exactly what we guaranteed you anyway, right? So it really is it's very seller friendly. And yeah, we have a couple other documents. Mechanics liens are great. California, they do equity liens, so you can show proof of appreciation. And we can get all the nitty gritty on that, which is something I love. But yes, the answer to your question is 100%. There are plenty of ways you've got to protect yourself. It's unfortunate that agents can, right? And this is the bad apple thing, not everybody, but they can definitely be very black and white in a sense where if it ain't broke, don't fix it, old dog, new trick mentality. And when you bring something creative because they don't understand it, they're just going to shut you down, which I think is doing the seller a complete disservice. Because of the way the rates are, because of the way their property is, we have a great solution for them. And for you not to even present it because they're going to ask you the questions as somebody they trust and confide in, and you don't know. I mean, just take a nice slice of humble pie and let us go over it together so you can learn something in your toolbox. You know what I mean? I get it all the time, but at the same time, what's really cool is once they shut it down, I'll revisit it or I'll sell another property right around them and I'll let them know and just kind of slowly but surely show them that this is something that we can do, and then they'll open the doors. Let me teach them and their brokers or their agents, and that's a great way to kind of come in through cause of action instead of just trying to go directly to them and their property. They have to kind of see the proof in the pudding first. But agents have been great, but a lot of my business comes from reoccurring agents. When they see it work one time, all their business is freaking novations. They go into a listing appointment and they go, you know, I could list it, but I have a creative department who could put yada, yada, yada. And then they just call me and say, hey, Trev, you know, this is a great novation. Have your 20 make 20, give the seller some more, and my commission's going to be 6%. I go, okay, right? And it's a really good way for us to all work together if they know what they're preaching and what they're talking about. Perfect action, you have nothing but risk to be able to take at that time, right? To even identify if that's even something you want to do, you know? And so that's kind of what was told to me, and I started to get into the VA loan, right? Because I don't come from real estate. My mom's retirement plan is me, you know what I mean? Like, we got nothing out there. And so identifying that, it just, because you have the lack of education doesn't mean you have the lack of intuition to do it. And so I went to a meetup, you know, and somebody told me to use my VA loan to house hack. I started doing that, not knowing what I was doing, and next thing you know, there was another quote. I'm kind of rambling, but basically to feed off that, Brett, was nobody knows what they're doing, but some choose to do it anyway. And that's the imperfect action piece, right? So I can't tell you anything to give you the reassurance. I'm just telling you to take that first step.